Hey everybody, this is Captain Yeet here for you for another One Piece Manga chapter review. This is going to be One Piece Manga chapter 1114 titled The Wing of Iskar. So let's get into it. I think I'm saying that name right, Iskar Ikujish. That's a really weird name for a title. But we get the cover story going on again because last week it was a color spread so we didn't get it. And this week, the request that Kinemon has for Yamato is for her to go around all of Wano because he wants to visit it. But at the end of Wano, he wants her to put a sword down at a shrine to honor. I forget his name. Does he say his name here? It's that guy Zoro's was friends with back in Wano, the guy that kept dancing. It was the father of that little girl that couldn't stop smiling because she ate the smile fruit. Remember, Orochi had him like strung up on a cross and he got gunned down. I forgot his name though. You guys know who I'm talking about. Does it say here? Yeah, Yasui said. Yeah, Yasui said. And they specifically said the sword to Enmer's shrine, but I don't know what sword this is. I guess it's his sword. Anyway, let's get into the actual chapter. So the actual chapter starts off with Aka Inu at the Marine, at the new Navy HQ base, and all the Marines are hearing what Vegapunk said last chapter that the world is going to sink into the ocean. Obviously, everybody's like, "Yo, what? Ain't no way this is true." Like we get a lot of different shots from around the world. Some people believe him, some people don't believe him, and specifically at Navy HQ, a ton of Marines are spazzing and they don't believe this is gonna actually happen. Like that's like crazy talk. Akainu doesn't specifically say anything. He just kind of looks and he's kind of trying to listen into everything else that Vegapunk is saying. We also cut over to Impel Down, and we get to see Doflamingo laughing at this news. We cut over to Water 7. Everybody doesn't really believe it. Everybody was like, well, specifically at Water 7, they said, now, if you said our Pacific place was going to flood, I'll believe you. Because remember, Iceberg turned the whole place into a boat because water levels kept rising where Water 7 was. And we get to see Polly. He doesn't say anything either. He just kind of like has exclamation points next to his head. Obviously, he's like, yo, what? That's kind of wild. The world is going to sink into the ocean. And like I said, we cut over to Impel Down and we see Doflamingo. And he's laughing his head off about this whole situation. Magellan, he specifically said that he does kind of believe it because when they use we don't specifically know the weapon's name, but that weapon that the Gorosei Emu used to destroy Lucia made that huge hole in the ground and water levels started rising everywhere. He mentions that. He goes, water levels did raise about 1 centimeter, a couple days ago, like a week or so ago. So I kind of do believe him. But still, the whole world flooding, I mean, that's kind of wild. Doflamingo starts laughing and he says most regular areas are going to get flooded if like 5 more meters come back up. What are you going to do about them, Magellan? Well, what are you going to do specifically about the prisoners? Because he said that when water levels raised back up from 1 centimeter when they used that weapon on Lucia, some of the cells got flooded. So some of the prisoners were able to get out, so he had to fight them off, I guess. And if the whole prison gets flooded, what is he going to do about all the prisoners? Doflamingo says that they should probably go somewhere higher up. Now, I don't know if Doflamingo's trying to say he should go into a cell higher up. I mean, he's already on the bottom level. It's already in the ocean, so it's whatever. Or he's trying to say go where the Gorosei and Celestial Dragons are, because that's he's Celestial Dragon on top of the red line. They're cooling. No matter how it could be, the water level is nowhere near them, so they're cooling right now. Obviously, he's not gonna bring them there, but that's probably what they're talking about. I know one of my friends is gonna be really happy with this chapter because they love Doflamingo. I mean, they love him. I mean, he's a cool character, but I don't love him. My friend, he loves him. He keeps telling me, "Yo, Captain Yeet, you're gonna hate me when Doflamingo ever comes back." I mean, I guess he's back, kind of. He's not doing nothing, but I guess he's back. Anyway, we cut over to the Fishman Kingdom, and they don't really believe it. Well, specifically King Triton. Sarahosi's kind of concerned about everything going on. Then we cut back over to Egghead, and everybody else is hearing the information. We don't get any reactions from the Straw Hats about the information that Vegapunk just said. We specifically only get the reactions of the Marines. Everybody's like, he has to be lying. Like, there's no way Vegapunk is true. Some other Marines like, well, he is the top scientist. Like, if he's saying it, it has to be true. But yeah, he's a traitor, so we're not gonna believe him. But we don't get we don't get Sanji's reaction like, whoa, are you serious? Or like Nami's or Luffy's. I don't get to hear any of them, so that kind of sucks. I would like to hear their reactions to it. But after that, we get one panel of all the Gorosei talking to each other telepathically. At first, they're like, we need to destroy wherever the snail is that's playing the recording, because we don't know what else Vegapunk is going to say, but they have no idea where it is. So they're like, maybe we should just kill every living being on this island, and then we can deal with the ramifications of whatever he says later, which is kind of wild because he's kind of boasting his recording out to the whole world. So killing everyone on the island wouldn't do nothing. I mean, I don't think they mean the Marines. I think they just mean like the Straw Hats and the Giants, but I mean, it could mean like other people too that's actually like seeing them, you know. So I don't know. It could be that too. Anyway, after that, we cut over to a lot of other places where Vegapunk is starting to say that, now I'm gonna give some facts to you because I only want to give you guys the facts. Now, if this stuff that I'm saying didn't happen, disregard what I'm saying. But if it did happen, then this world is gonna be in a lot of trouble. So he specifically says that in a few days, there's going to be a huge earthquake. After the earthquake, water levels are going to rise. And then we get some other people's reactions like, wait a second, that earthquake just happened. But if this video is playing, that means he died. So how did he predict this is going to happen? Like, everybody's like really confused about this. I'm guessing the earthquake, I didn't realize that the whole world felt the earthquake when they used the Lelouchia weapon. I guess that's kind of cool that the whole world felt it. And specifically, that I want to bring up, the other reactions that I want to bring, specifically some reactions I want to bring up to the information that Vegapunk is saying, is Aokiji. We get to see him. We don't get to see Garp or anything, but we get to see Aokiji, and he's all bandaged up, so he was in a pretty tough fight with Garp, obviously. And we also get to see Smoothie, and I forgot his name, but the guy that has the Bulk Devil Fruit, we get to see them. Now that's interesting because the last time we saw any other Big Mom pirate was when, oh wait, hey, here's a noise. Okay, I'm back. Like I said, the last time we saw the Big Mom pirates was when they were coming up the waterfall for the second time in Wano. Because the first time King knocked them down, the second time Marco knocked them down, and then for the rest of the Ogashima War, we never saw them again. And did we see them? No. I guess the other time was when Aokiji and what was it, Van Auger went to go kidnap Pudding, but we didn't really get to see anybody that was at Wano. Samui was at Wano. We don't get to see them. And we see him here. So, where's Big Mom and Kaido? I don't know. Maybe they brought him back. We don't really know, but we get to see their reactions to the information. And they're like kind of confused. Like, you know, how did he predict this? This is kind of wild. Because if this video is playing, he should be dead. Then we cut over to, this part kind of confused me a little bit. So, we cut back over to Nami's group, and they're protecting Robin from Saturn. Saturn throws out a few more attacks at them. Everybody else throws out their attacks on Saturn, but he can heal from it, obviously. And he tells everybody to get off him. So he does some sort of pushback move that blows everybody back. And Robin's able to do the Spider-Net move that catch everybody. And then he starts to run away. And when he runs away, he somehow finds the Mother Flame, that energy source that's like infinite. And those two sins that he did, Vegapunk said that he did last chapter, the two sins was to make the Mother Flame. That's number one, because he wanted to make an energy source for everybody in the world that's like infinite, but he flew too close to the sun. So I'm pretty sure that's supposed to be Icarus, the wings of Icarus, right? Because that's, you know, the flying too close to the sun, right? But I guess I read it wrong. I don't know. Maybe I read it wrong. But he flew too close to the sun, and we get to see this huge, nice panel of the Mother Flame, and it looks really cool. And we get to see like this huge container containing it. It was the flame. I don't know, like the way it ordered the flame inside looks really nice too. But Saturn somehow finds it, and then he starts to destroy it. Well, he destroys some stuff around it. Obviously, he's still telepathically talking to the Gorosei, and they still need the Mother Flame because that's like a really good energy source. It's like almost infinite, and they can use the power of whatever that weapon was to destroy Lucia. So they still need that, but he's destroying just some things in his regular form. How did he find this? And where was it? I don't know. Cause he was just running around like outside after he ran away from Nami and them. And then he was talking to them like, you know, where's the Mother Flame? We can't destroy it all, but we can destroy some things. And then like a big bright light happened. He's like, what the Mother Flame? And then we get a panel with him right next to it. I'm like, how did he get there? You know, like what? We didn't see him go inside or nothing. I guess Oda's like, you know, we gotta get this going. So that's kind of funny, but I don't know how he even got there. So while Vegapunk is talking throughout this whole chapter, we cut back over to Egghead, and all the Marines are shooting at the giant robot from like 2 chapters ago, And no matter what they do, nothing is even phasing this thing. It's still just walking. We don't know where, but it's still walking. And we cut over to Dorian, Bragi, and Luffy, and they're running away from Mercury, the giant boar. He lit his whole body on fire. And Dory and Bragi like, yo, that guy is fuming. Like, he's on the Human Torch. He's like on the that fire is too much. If we even get close to that, we're gonna get burned to a crisp. We gotta go. So they're running away. Luffy's just laughing. They're trying to get back to the ship. And did I forget a panel? Okay, no. That's the next panel, I think. Yeah. Okay, so the very next panel, Vegapunk also said that he had friends that were able to could translate poneglyphs, and he was able to use their research to translate the poneglyphs that he saw to betray the world government. That was the second sin, and he was able to get some information from the Void Century that was about 800 to 900 years ago, and he only wants to tell you guys facts. So while he's talking about all of this and all the history that's been erased, we get a panel of Emu, and he's listening in. We don't get to see his face or anything, but we just see ... We also get to see some other celestial dragons getting mad, and we also get to see specifically one of the celestial dragons listening in. It's a celestial dragon girl that was at the auction house when they were kidnapping Cammy. Remember, with the father, it was Charlos, the guy that shot Hachi, and then it was the girl. I'm guessing that was his sister. We see her there, and she's like, what does he specifically say? She said the Voice Sanctuary. What is he talking about? And then we also get to see Saul. We don't get to see his face, but we see him laying down listening in to what Vegapunk is saying, and he's laughing. And I'm guessing he's on Elbaf. I mean, all we really get to see around Saul is some trees, and he's laying down on some logs, so I don't really get to see, specifically where he's at, but I would assume Elbaf, right? So while Vegapunk is talking, we also get to see Orange Town. We get to see the mayor there with a little girl talking and the dog. So, and I didn't even notice it. I almost forget. We also get to see Margaret on, what was it? Amazon Lily. I forget what the place was called. So, while he's saying all of this that I just said, we see that the clouds around Nami's group are starting to extend outwards. And that kind of confused how the clouds are extending outwards. Because they were like right next to a cliff. But now the cliff is starting to spread out for more land. And then Brooke is like, that has to be what Edison was going to do when he flew down. I'm so glad they brought this back, because 2 chapters ago, he flew right into the Frontier Dome talking about, I'm going to make sure you guys are able to bring the ship to the ocean. Because if they did the Kudo burst where they were get kind of smack down on land. But if he's extending the land outwards and then they do the Kudo burst, then they can go over the whole island and then land in the ocean. Okay, that makes sense. But it was just so funny to me because, 2 chapters ago when he did that, I'm like, what is he doing? I'm going to make sure you guys are going to be able to get to the ocean. Rams right into the Frontier Dome. I was like, did he just kill himself? No, we see him underground somewhere turning on a machine to extend it outwards. And he says, you Straw Hats better be able to make it. We don't get caught by the government. We don't get to see what percent he was at, but from last chapter, he was dying because he was at 70-something% capability. So it was going down, so he was dying. We don't get to see what percent he's at right now, but he probably will die soon if they hit the Frontier Dome like that. So I don't know. We cut back over to Luffy, and he hits the boar. I forgot his name. I think his name is Worker. He hits the boar again with another Gear 3 attack. And Dory and Bragi are telling him to just stop it. Nothing's going to work. We got to go. Luffy's like, nah, this one's going to work. And he punches him. Then he burns his hand again. And they just start laughing at him. And Vegapunk, these are his exact words. He says, and in truth, I only know a small fragment of this 100-year-long tale. It wouldn't be right to leave you with baseless speculation. So I'll limit myself to the facts as I know them. The star of the story was born 900 years ago in a bountiful and advanced kingdom. Let me scroll over. And just like the legendary sun god Nika from the fables of Elbaf, he too fought with a stretchy and elastic body. They called him Joy Boy. He was the first man to take the seas, the first one to be called a pirate. The original pirate. 1114N, break next week. That kind of sucks. Well, last week it wasn't supposed to go on break. It was a golden week for Sonic Jump, so that's why I was on break. But that's pretty wild. Joy Boy was the first original pirate, and I'm guessing he was a giant from Elbaf. Well, he specifically says that he comes from the Vanks. Well, yeah, that's basically saying he's from Elbaf, right? Let me zoom back in. Buffalo Kingdom. And just like the legendary sun god Nika from the Fables of Elbaf. So yeah, either he's just basically he's saying he had the Gum Gum fruit. Joy Boy had the Gum Gum fruit just like Luffy. It's not really confirmed that he had the Devil Fruit. I mean, not the Devil, that he's from Elbaf, but he could have been from Elbaf. And he was the very first pirate. The rogue government really shouldn't have existed back then, but I don't know. Could it? Maybe there was some sort of government, but maybe not. But he was the first pirate, and maybe I don't know. There was probably something in place, but it wasn't like the world government. But that was really cool though. He was the very first pirate. That's pretty dope. There was also a unique scene I want to bring out that I forgot to say. Was when we got over to Orangetown and we see the mayor talking to the dog. There's a little girl beside him reading a book, and she says that in this book it says that way back when 20 kings teamed up to create the world. I wonder if Vegapunk knows that. And the mayor was like, I mean, probably, but who knows whatever he knows since he's like the world's greatest scientist. I mean, he would have probably known that, but maybe there's something more to it. Who knows? And that's the chapter. It was a really good chapter. I mean, I really liked it. Things are really starting to cook up. Things are really starting to heat up. I saw something like a couple days ago that said Oda said that Elbafs would start around November time, or Elbafs would start around November time in the manga, and I was like, where's this information coming from? I think I saw that on like one random post or like a couple, and I was like, I don't remember him doing any interviews lately or something like that. So I mean, maybe he did say that. I'm not saying I'm lying, but I don't remember that. I mean, I don't know where he specifically said this at, but if that's true, then November time is kind of wild because it kind of seems like we're gonna get an Egghead. There's no way Egghead's going from now to November, so maybe there's like a little mini arc like Zoe in between, or we're just gonna cut around the world, or we're gonna cut away from Luffy again when they're heading to Elbaf for whatever reason to see what's going on. Yeah, maybe. Or Oda's gonna take like a 3 to 4 month break. Either he's taking a 3 to 4 month break, or we're gonna cut away, or we're doing another mini arc like Zoe. So who knows? But that's a chapter. Really good chapter though. So, like, share, and subscribe. I'll see you all later. Thank you all for watching. I thank you all there for being wonderful human beings, and I'll see you guys next time.